What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Spectrum Show. My name is Spencer. This is Preston, and we have another incredible episode prepared for you guys.
That's right, Spence. In this episode, we'll be discussing Sony's recent entry in their spin-off Spider-Man universe, and we'll also talk about some news regarding the future of Xbox.
Also, before we start this episode, we hope you all enjoyed the big game this past weekend, whether it be watching the commercials and the trailers, enjoying some good food, or watching Usher mostly blow our minds with the halftime show. We hope everyone had fun this past weekend, and most importantly, congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs on their big win. Granted, we're Patriots fans, but we still show good sportsmanship. But also, on a more serious note, to everyone affected by the recent tragedy in Kansas City, our hearts are with you. And you should know that you are not alone. As the AFT community will hear with you and send our prayers.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll get started with the episode, so don't go anywhere. The Spectrum Show will be right back.
Welcome back, everyone. We are the cast of the Spectrum Show, and it is time for another Spectrum of Opinions discussion. Today we'll be talking about Sony's recently released Spider-Man spin-off film, Madam Web. We just saw the opening day premiere a couple of days ago at the time of filming, so we had some time to take it all in. So that being said, Preston, what are your Spectrum of Opinions on Madam Web?
I feel like it was a slow start, but it was very, very good in terms of sticking to the comics, because they did stick to the comics a lot at the end.
Yeah.
But in the middle, it was slow.
Yeah, it was.
I'll admit, towards the beginning, I actually fell asleep.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that. I'll be the first to admit, it definitely drags.
Yeah.
But I will say, this movie is not getting good reviews. I think that's pretty clear on that part. But,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, blame it on Sony, if anything, because they're the ones who wrote the darn thing.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think that Kevin Feige could have been more hands-on.
Oh, absolutely. And he was hands-on with it a little bit.
If I could change anything in that movie, it would be less of how Madam Web got her powers and more focused on the three girls who get their actual abilities.
Yeah,
because in the trailer we see a lot of the girls, teenagers, versus how
everyone gets their powers.
Exactly.
It's a little misleading, I will say, but honestly, in terms of acting performances and the actresses they got, they did their best, I will say.
Yeah.
I mean, and just for clarification, the story of this film basically, well, let's actually talk about that before we talk about the actresses. So story-wise, it's about what would you call her? Like a paramedic? Yeah, she's a paramedic, right?
NY paramedic.
Yeah. A New York paramedic that takes place in a standalone universe out in 2003 New York.
Well, didn't we see a Daily Bugle?
Yeah, so it was around Raimi time, I guess.
Yeah,
in the timeline side of things.
Yeah.
So basically, Cassandra Webb, played by, I'll just say that later, but Cassandra Webb is a paramedic who basically gains the ability to see the future. I don't remember the exact term for it, but she has the ability to see into the future, which gives her a huge advantage in combat, which she eventually does at the end.
Yeah.
And this man who basically killed her mother, Ezekiel Sims, I don't remember the actor who plays him, I'm going to be completely honest with you. He's trying to prevent his death that he believes is 10
years in the future, which is, to me, just why would you have that kind of storyline?
But I think it was in that year, though. It was in 2003.
If it was in 2000...
They said so at the very beginning.
Yeah, it was in 2003, so if anything, I feel like what they could have done with that information would be not to try to kill them, but let them see if it was actually true and they actually do get powers.
Yeah.
So you just spy on them and just kind of linger for a couple of years and then fast forward until...
But the villain could see the future as well, to be fair.
yes and no. He had one
A
vision of the
variation.
whole movie, but meanwhile, Madam Web
Could see more than
had more like specialized powers to it.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I think the plot is pretty convoluted, and like I honestly wouldn't be able to call out many specific plot details, but
Yeah.
you get the gist of it at the very least. But
Yeah.
like I said, all the actors did their best, and the four main actors are mostly the saving graces, I would say.
Yeah.
Like you have Dakota Johnson, who plays Cassandra Webb, also known as Madam Web, which is a very interesting choice, I will say, because in the comics she's depicted as a much older woman, actually.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we see her because they did that to Haley Atwell in Winter Soldier. They made her older, if you remember.
Yeah.
So they could do the same thing here if they wanted.
I'm
to.
also thinking will it fast forward to the current year in that universe, or do you think they're going to continue the storyline
of the multiverse
from if there is another one, which I don't think there will be.
Yeah, I think this is a standalone project, I believe,
Yeah.
and I think they could incorporate them into the other films if they wanted
Yeah,
to.
like, but at the same time, I don't think they have much to go off on.
Yeah,
Because if they want to add this into a bigger franchise, they will need to have another film more tying in the teamwork and the team relations.
or at least another film with them in it, at least.
Yeah.
But I will say,
with their powers being more active.
Yeah, and I think we will see that. And the other three characters who play Spider-Women, they're incredible, I will say. They're definitely the saving graces of this film, particularly. Yeah. You have Celeste O'Connor, who plays, I think her name's Martha Franklin. I think she plays Spider-Girl. Technically, she would be in the comics. You have Sydney Sweeney, who plays Juliet Cornwall. It's supposed to be Juliet Carpenter, people. She plays proper Spider-Woman, the one from the Secret Wars comic, actually. So that's a connection right there. Yeah. And then you have Isabella Merced. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And she plays Araña, who's like a Latina Spider-Woman. Yeah. But honestly, they chose quality people, and given good scripts, they all have good acting abilities.
Yeah. But keyword, if they get good scripts.
Yeah, and Dakota Johnson's a prime example of that. She was in the, excuse the reference, but she was in the 50 Shades films, and those got poor reception, she just gets in a lot of bad movies, which is really unfortunate, because she has acting chops.
I think she does really good acting. It's just that
poor script screw her over.
Well, no, I think it's like her agent doesn't book her good roles, so it makes her look bad. So it's hard to get those really good roles for her.
Well, let's not blame the companies. Let's blame the studios and everything.
Well, who else would you blame? I feel like the writers are the real culprit here.
Don't say that.
But
I
also,
just got out of a writer's strike, dude.
But again, exactly, the writer's strike is a big deal, because wasn't this written during the writer's strike?
It was before, I believe. But
before, yeah.
But moving past that, I don't want to get in trouble for that. Point is, the film really it was a bit of a disappointment, but it was still watchable, at least compared to Morbius, at least.
Yeah, Morbius was definitely
less watchable.
To be honest, I didn't even watch it.
And
it was
and Morbius,
from the get-go, I was no.
The one thing I will say, Morbius did get better. It does have connections to the bigger universe.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's going good.
And even then, those connections are a bit of a stretch too. But I will say, if they can introduce the Spider-Woman or reintroduce them in Spider-Man 4, which I think is coming out next year, I believe.
Yeah.
That would be a great way of tying it all in, because there's not to be start rumors or anything, but I have heard things saying that Toby and Andrew will be back in Spider-Man 4, at least in a post-credits scene.
Well,
I would not be surprised by that, honestly.
What I think would be that they would continue. Well, no, I think Toby would come back. Andrew, as you said before, I think this is in the Tobey Maguire universe. So what he could do is kind of say...
Oh, yeah, because there are rumors of doing a Raimi Spider-Man 4, bringing that back. And they can bring her back in that if they want to.
They could bring that whole group back in together, because if you also notice, I noticed the window. It's very, very similar to the window where Doc Ock had his massive, device, and it gave me those kind of vibes.
I mean, that is a theory. I got a lot of Doctor Strange vibes from it too.
Yes and no, because Doctor Strange is more
in the
main MCU timeline. Spider-Man is as well. I'll give him that, but not Raimi's. I think Raimi's.
It felt very distinct, and
yeah.
We should also point out before I bring up this next point, there are no post-credit scenes in the film, which is a very bold choice. I think considering this is like a very multiverse-heavy, time travel-esque heavy film, kind of. But you think they would at least include something?
Well, no. If this is a standalone movie, why would they add anything if it was a standalone movie like that?
Because it's a Marvel film. It's in some ways connected to everything.
Well, this kind of also shows how much Sam Raimi was actually
Kevin Feige.
Feige was actually might have just been like calling the
shots from behind,
final shots or like the first shots for it because he had some he had some equity in Sony.
I mean, I guess.
But
at least for Spider-Man specifically.
Yeah, at least for Spider-Man, and because again, there's so many movies that are so just
like rapid fire.
Rapid fire. They're very fast-paced movies in Marvel, and that's where they get their success from. I feel like.
And this one definitely felt like it dragged a bit.
Oh my gosh, yes, it dragged so much. Again,
it got picked up a little bit towards the end, but it was a bit slow. I will say that's the major critique I had with it.
I would have pretty much cut out the whole cab scene and the whole train scene.
I mean,
the train scene I would cut down by like a minute and a half.
Like maybe a couple lines out, probably.
Yeah, and then I'd cut out pretty much like 95 to like at least 50%. 95% of the cab scenes because we didn't really get anything out of her going through her journal at her house.
I mean, a couple of things maybe.
Well, we kind of saw her go through it constantly, the same pages, over and over again.
But it was just more of a recap, if anything.
Yeah, and even then, I would not have added if I had say in the editing process, I would not have added when she took off the cab's license plates, when she went into her apartment.
But then again, that's just for stealth purposes.
But I also take out the whole I would have put in the whole girls alone in the woods part. Yeah. I would add 2 seconds of them starting to walk towards it, but after that, I would have been
I will say that scene was definitely long, I will say.
Yeah, really long. And on top of that, you don't really get much information of the girls because they repeat it a lot. Yeah. They repeat the same information a lot.
It is a little repetitive, but there is something I do want to address real quick regarding the whole film as a whole. And this is kind of important regarding the Sony Spider-Man universe. I honestly think that considering they've had 2 practically bombs in a row.
Yeah.
Do we think it's time for Marvel to just, once Kraven the Hunter and Venom 3 come out, do we think it's time for just Marvel to step in and say hey, you can't have them anymore?
Or do you think they're going to take them midway through and save those movies that might crash and burn? That's the real thing, is that they could...
At the very least, they could do that with Venom 3. I think Kraven the Hunter's already done, I think.
Yeah, at least Kraven the Hunter's damage has already been done.
If there is any. I will say, that film is going to be the first rated R film in the Sony film universe, so
yeah, there might Deadpool comes out later, right?
Deadpool comes out a little over a month before.
Isn't that R-rated movie?
That is too, yeah.
So that would be the first Marvel R-rated movie.
Well, MCU one specifically.
Wait, hold on.
Because you have MCU.
I'm thinking. No, the first one was the first Deadpool movie.
If you count those, of course.
It had X-Men in it. It had X-Men and a lot of Spider-Man references and stuff like that in it. So technically, that would be the first R-rated movie in the MCU.
But this is before Deadpool was even in the MCU to begin with, if you remember, because that was 2016 and 2018 was Deadpool 2.
No, the first Deadpool was R-rated.
Yeah, both of them were.
Yeah.
But regardless, we're like back to the main topic. Do we think that after Venom 3, do you think Marvel just take them back?
Maybe, depending on how those two movies go.
Because I think,
or what Kevin Feige's going to do is slowly incorporate himself more and more into the films.
That could work
until
too.
he's like directing it, or he's a big
more
executive.
Yeah, because I think
again, like it's trash.
I will say I think Craven will be a little bit better than the previous two, but it's not going to be by a whole lot. Like it'll probably be in like the 20s on Rotten Tomatoes, but it will still be significantly better, I think, because people know who Craven the Hunter is. Not many people knew who Morbius or Madam Web are.
Yeah, those are more of like
lower tier
characters, and like you put them in case if you want to build more on them.
Yeah,
later.
and I think we will see those characters again. It may not just be in that universe or the respective universes, but I think Marvel realizes after 2 bombs, you need to just take back what's yours, I think.
Yeah.
And I really hope Marvel can pull off the right move in this case.
But do you think they will pull off the correct move to do this proper?
They're going to have to make some serious negotiations, but absolutely. Marvel's like one of the, I don't know if they say this.
Yeah.
One of the better businesses in Hollywood for sure.
Yeah, and this is also, I was talking about this after the movie with you, but like, it's not just another movie.
Everything's connected.
It's all connected, and it's also Stan Lee's legacy.
Exactly, that's an excellent point.
Stan Lee is the one who created a lot of these characters.
A good majority of them, I believe.
And I think that if they do kind of a not so good job,
that's kind of disrespecting the legacy.
And disrespecting the legacy, and kind of putting mud on his name, kind of in a way.
And mud on his work too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. So when Madam Web comes out, or when any bad
it has
movie
come out
comes
at this point.
Yeah. When any movie comes out and it's kind of bad,
and it's part of a major franchise,
it hits the whole franchise in all of its things. So that means
absolutely
that Marvel's equity probably went down a little bit.
Yeah, so and that means they really need Deadpool 3 to shine at this point.
Yeah, they need that to be the 2024 film of the year at least.
Like the biggest film of the year at least.
To just come out of this hole that they dug themselves into.
Yeah, and I have a feeling even if it's not as well, I think it will be enough to save them, I think.
But how much? Like, do you think they'll regain what they lost only? Or do you think they're going to skyrocket through that more?
Hopefully skyrocket, at least regain, at the very worst, regain what they lost.
Yeah.
Because I think, in terms of the release schedule, Deadpool 3 is the only thing we have coming out this year for MCU specifically. Everything else is Sony.
Well, I feel like it's every other year, so they can make really good movies. So like what they do is have Sony, they have the MCU, and take a year, get all their filming done 2024, and then do a buttload of editing this year. So, or next year before it comes out.
Yeah.
And so you can also do proper marketing.
Yeah.
Proper work on it.
And I should say this is, for MCU content, I meant MCU movies specifically. Like, because there's still other series coming out. And I think the next series actually is going to be a big one too, I think. Like we got X-Men 97 coming out in March 20th actually, so that's really soon. So that means like, oh crap, I got to binge watch the whole first 5 seasons, so I gotta catch up on that. But anyway, I think there's anything else that we should discuss, or should we call it?
We should call it, Spence.
Yeah, we've been at this for quite a while at this point, but you know what? But we're about done here with this particular Spectrum of Opinions discussion, so don't go anywhere because we have another really cool discussion coming up shortly. And it's not exactly related to movies like the past couple have been. We're going to do video game discussion. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everyone. We are the cast of the Spectrum Show, and we have another Spectrum of Opinions discussion for all.
Yeah.
This time regarding the future of Xbox, as they had a major business update revealing very important details So Spence, considering I don't know really much that not yeah, well, I don't know much about the Xbox. What can you
I'm going to fill you
tell
in.
us? What can you tell us? What can you enlighten us?
Of course, an excellent job, by the way, Preston. And we'll keep that in. But so basically, Xbox recently held a major business update on the Xbox official podcast, basically detailing like their future, basically, because there's been a lot of rumors around them or surrounding them, rather.
So are we looking at new games or new consoles?
It's kind of a mix of everything, because there's been rumors that they were going to go third party for a very long time.
But you think this is fine when they're going to go third party? Because
no, the business update already happened.
Already happened?
And basically what they said is we're going third party, but we're also not going third party. So let me explain what that means. So what they're going to be doing is they have 4 unannounced titles at the moment that they're going to be putting on the other platforms. So this can be on Xbox, the current Xbox platforms, PS5, and the Switch.
So this is all teaming up in the whole industry?
Yes and no, because like basically it's 4 titles, no more, no less, and they're like a mix between like smaller titles and like community-based titles. So it's nothing to be completely major.
Okay.
It's stuff that's not going to impact them tremendously.
What else is new with Xbox these days?
Well, honestly, if I will bring this up real quick. If Microsoft was going to go third party with their Xbox game studios, I think this is the best way they could have done it, honestly, because like a very limited amount of titles, smaller titles, and like that's the best way they could have done it, honestly.
Yeah.
If you were going to do it, just do it that way.
Yeah.
But that being said, there is some other good stuff coming out of it. Like Game Pass, their big streaming service for Xbox games is going to stay on for a little longer. I
think that would be their most selling point.
Exactly.
If that's the case.
It absolutely is. And the other thing is that they're only expanding it to platforms that Microsoft can easily do. So it's not going to be coming to PlayStation. It's not going to be coming to Xbox. Nintendo. Regardless, it's just going to be taking to platforms that support Microsoft-based properties.
Okay.
So Xbox, Windows platform, mobile, and probably VR too, I would think.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot more of advertisements for this on my laptop, which is a Windows.
Absolutely, yeah. And the thing is with that, but that being said, they did drop a couple of surprises with us too, and they're actually pretty big ones too.
Like what?
For example, no big deal, just new hardware this holiday. Holiday 2024, they're working on. They're gonna at the very least share info about new hardware this holiday. My guess, it's gonna be a mid-cycle refresh, I think. So it's gonna be like so. It's not exactly a new console, but it's like a halfway sort of new console. It's like an elite model, basically.
Okay.
And if my guess is correct, and hopefully it is in this case, it's gonna be It's gonna be digital only, but it will have physical capability. So like the Blu-ray drive will probably be detachable.
Okay.
And Sony proved that with their PS5 Slim model that it actually worked very well for them in the long run. So. Well, then again, Sony makes movies too, so that helps them. But I think, given that worked really well, I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft did the same thing.
Yeah.
Or at least did both 2 different models of it. So that's going to be in the works for holiday 2024. So this year, mind you, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
And if my theory was correct, it probably is in this case, all 3, so Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, they're all releasing new hardware this year.
So they...
Oh, God, our wallets are going to be so screwed by the end of this year.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Oh my.
Alrighty, it seems like we covered quite a lot.
There's one more.
Oh, really?
There actually is one more thing this time, and it's a quick thing. They have a June showcase. They're going to have a big summer showcase sometime in mid-June, maybe early to mid-June.
Okay.
So we'll probably be streaming that.
That might be on our Patreon.
It's probably going to be on our Twitch, actually, at this point. But we could put it on the Patreon at some point if you guys are interested. But regardless, which, by the way, the Patreon's set up, we've covered quite a lot. And I think that's the last thing I had to say.
Yeah, so let's just
wrap it up here, I think.
Wrap it up, and we're going to be right back with our extended, you heard it here right, extended outro.
With a little surprise in the mix, too. So we'll be right back.
Don't go anywhere.
Thank you all so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we had making it. But before you all go, you might notice we have this special thing right here. This is the Spectrum wheel that we mentioned in the pilot season. And for those who may remember, we talked about it, but we never really came around to it. So we're going to finally give it a spin. And depending on what it lands on, we'll be doing it either this episode or an upcoming episode. So, Preston?
Coming around.
And spin that sucker. Oh, that was a good one, dude. It is making a hot mess noise, just saying. It was some good.
No!
Okay, we'll make this work. I have to sing the outro, but we'll have to pull it up. Okay. So. Okay. We'll cut this.
Yep.
So,
This should be exciting. And we'll explain what it will entail
right now.
Right now.
So it's pretty self-explanatory. I just got to sing the outro. So if we could just... Okay. I mean, I like singing, but we'll see.
If you want to, we always do cosplay, so you don't have to really be embarrassed.
It's not... I mean, if I...
You want to do that instead? Just make it easier.
Can how about we do 3 spins, and if it lands on something else, and we'll do the sing the outro in another episode. I mean, because I'm not really in the best. We'll do it I promise you, we'll do it in the next episode, guys. I just got to practice. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. Maybe I'll do. Well, we do have 2 people here, just saying. So shout out to those guys. But maybe I'll do half the outro. Is that acceptable? I'll do it. I'll do it to a certain. I'll do it at a certain part because that's where it's going to get exciting.
All right.
Pray for me, everyone.
You ready?
You're going to need to.
Here's another spin.
Yeah, hopefully we can do one that doesn't. And if it's not sing the out, if it's sing the outro, we'll just do the one next to it, okay? If it's not. Oh, okay, that's not too bad. Okay.
You want to do one more? You made 3.
Yeah. We'll come up with a fun fact for next time too. Oh, jeez. Careful, Preston. Okay, give us something good. Okay, there we go. Okay, that we can do now.
All right.
Okay,
now we can definitely do.
Okay, so cosplay. You might have noticed we had this right here.
Yep.
So
we're gonna cut and come back to
him wearing this.
Me wearing that. All right.
So with the power of editing. So yeah, you look very dumb, by the way. You look like the worst supervillain ever.
Do you want to try to put this on?
Maybe in a later episode, but
this should be. Well, this is kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, it looks next level dumb. I'm gonna say that right now.
Well,
and I'm gonna regret this in the edit. I'm gonna at least I'll have fun editing it in the process.
Yeah, it'll be funny.
The people behind the camera, by the way, are just wheezing with laughter. But, you know, we love having guests.
Yep.
In fact, they're our first ones. So, in the meantime, feel free to leave a friendly comment, a like, share this video with your family and friends. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any content. Make sure to follow us on Threads, Instagram, Twitch, and the upcoming Patreon, which is releasing in April. And we're excited to also announce, for the first time ever, we're starting a Discord server! That's all you're getting, folks. I'm sorry. So be sure to join us there when you're ready. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.
Good night, everybody.